Hey y'all.
Welcome back to my channel. I said, hey.
Welcome back to my channel.
Hey, girl.
Hey y'all, I'm comedian Jazmyn W. Let me get my mouth together.
Okay, hurry up.
Hey y'all, I'm comedian Jazmyn W. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to be here, you guys. It feels like forever since I did my last video, but it was only last Wednesday. I'm super excited because I have 10,000 followers here on YouTube, and I just want to say thank y'all so much for subscribing to my channel, honey.
Yay.
For watching my reaction videos and for laughing with me. I really appreciate it. I also hit 100,000 followers on Instagram.
Yes.
This weekend, and then also I'm at over 1 million on TikTok, so I'm just very thankful. I'm really thankful for everybody who is laughing with me and enjoying my content. It means the world to me. Listen, we're gonna jump right into it. This is the newest episode of The Bachelor. We have a lot to go over. And y'all know what we're gonna start with, honey. We're gonna start with Chris Hansen, Chris Brown, Chris Hardwick,
Chris Spencer,
Chris Harriet, or whatever his name is, honey. I honestly am not even kidding with y'all. I do not know his name. He was on Rachel. Y'all know the first Black Bachelorette was Rachel.
Chris Tucker.
And she has a podcast. And I'll be honest, I didn't watch the whole thing all the way through because honestly, there's no need for me to watch it all the way through because Chris Hansen, honey, is a 40-something-year-old white man, probably conservative, and it's been 24 seasons before they had a black person on, so there's really nothing else that needs to be said about this except for the fact that he was taken up for racist ass Rachel, and it was to be expected. I'm not shocked by it. You shouldn't be shocked by it. Like, a couple of people hit me up and like, how do you feel about this? I feel like I'm not surprised and I don't feel shocked, and I actually don't feel any way about it because this is just another instance in a very, very like unimportant instance in the grand scheme of things of, you know, a white person not taking accountability for another white person's racism. And it wasn't just racism against black people, it was racism against Native people, and just a complete disrespect and disregard for people's culture. So if you guys noticed in this episode, Matt was really asking the girls, how's your family going to feel about me if you brought me home? And he made a point to ask Jazmyn that and made a point to ask Rachel that because the other girls are, you know, biracial.
Right.
So, you know, from what I remember on the episode, he didn't ask them specifically heavily about how they feel about their parents. And he asked Rachel that multiple times. How would your parents feel about me coming home with you? And she was like, well, as long as I'm happy, which is what everybody always says. But girl, stop playing.
Exactly.
Okay, you participated in Slave Day.
A damn mess.
And now you talking about as long as you happy. Girl, bye.
I'm
anyway,
speechless.
The last thing that I have to say about Chris Harrison, that's his name.
Crystal Light.
Is, I could easily do his job. His job is not a necessity to the show at all whatsoever. I can literally come out and say, ladies, there will be no rose ceremony tonight. Piper, I'm sorry, Piper. You'll be going home. Literally. Why do you need this man to do it?
We don't.
What is special about him?
Nothing.
He literally comes out and says the same thing over and over. And actually, we don't even really need him on the show at all. We can do a little voiceover. My daddy can do the voiceover on this show.
Okay.
Piper going home, period. Like, that's the end. So, anyway. And the very last thing about videos and stuff like that, like, another reason why I just scan them and I don't watch them or listen to them to completion is because I don't have time to hear Chris Harrison take up for a racist ass Rachel. I literally do not have time nor the patience nor the desire to sit there and listen to this white man take up for her and her racism and her inexcusable behavior and pretend like it was so long ago, honey, was when it was within the last 2 years. So let's stop.
2018.
As y'all can see, I'm going to entitle this episode Dropping Like Flies, because that's what happened tonight. First, let's start off with Heather. Heather showed up, honey, because her and Matt have a mutual friend, and she thought that, you know, after the show started, honey, she wanted to get to know Matt so bad. I thought it was very interesting because Matt said, oh, I'm really impressed with how much she's pursuing me.
Okay.
That ought to be a note for you guys. Do not be a Heather. Heather over here chasing and driving across country and
Begging.
purchasing her own flights just to meet a black man she ain't never heard of before in her life and wasn't interested until he got on the show. First of all, it probably, now that I say it, it sounds like she probably wasn't even interested in him in the first place.
That part.
Second of all, she thought she was going to show up and bat her big blue eyes and flick her little thin blonde hair, honey.
Not thin.
And he was going to fall in love with her, but he actually turned her around and said, skirt, like Jamie Foxx on the Jamie Foxx show, and said, go ahead and go home. I do have a problem with the way the girls treated Heather when she got there. Number one, you guys been here 6 weeks, not 6 months.
Right.
Y'all literally act like you guys own the place. As you can see from this episode, none of you guys have secured a spot. I can see if it was the last 2 women or the last 3 women. There's literally like 8 of y'all left. None of you guys have really made a connection with this man at all. And he might have laid eyes on her and really fallen in love with her, but y'all over here being mean and acting like y'all have some sort of ownership over him. And most of y'all went home today. Now how you feeling? Probably stupid.
Boo-boo the fool.
Especially Piper. But we're going to get to that. I wrote down that everybody needs to relax. You do not know this man. Period. Like a lot of the former contestants on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette also say that the only time that they get to spend with whoever the Bachelor or the Bachelorette is the time that you see on camera. So let's just stop acting like the 2 times that you spoke to him and the 4 times you kissed him really made a difference, okay? The only thing I will say is I feel like Piper is the only person who had the right to be upset about this entire thing because her time was interrupted, and the way Matt was just like, oh, I'm gonna talk to you later, Piper, was very disrespectful, in my opinion. I would have probably said, oh my God, okay, can you give me a couple minutes? And then I would have explained to Piper, I don't know what's going on or whatever the case is. He kind of just pushed Piper to the side and talked to Heather, you know, which I'm actually going to cut Matt some slack for that because it's probably the producers and probably him not knowing what the hell's going on.
Right.
Or whatever the case is. So anyway, but I will say that Piper was the only one who had the right to be upset because her time was interrupted and it was kind of like he pushed her to the side. The other girls had no right to be acting like that towards Heather, in my opinion. Anyway, Heather got sent home. I was like, are you not embarrassed?
Yes, girl.
That is so embarrassing. It's
Very.
embarrassing, Heather. You should be ashamed and embarrassed, okay? Because you blew your little self all the way over here from wherever you from, honey, and got rejected the same day because he wasn't interested. At the end of the day, while I understand why Piper was upset, she did all of that kicking and screaming and crying for Heather to get sent home and for nothing. This is just a reminder, you guys. Play it cool. Why are you tripping like this? Play it cool, honey. If it's supposed to be, it's gonna be. Period. And it actually wasn't supposed to be because he ended up sending your ass home 2 seconds later.
Immediately.
Anyway, right after that, Chelsea, which is the girl with the bald head, black girl with the bald head, and Serena went home. Or Selena, whatever her name is, the Asian girl who I'm pretty sure she probably from the Bay Area because she act like she from the Bay Area. They went home. Listen, I wasn't surprised. A couple of episodes, though, maybe last episode or the episode before, I thought that Matt and Chelsea had a pretty good connection. You know, I thought that they vibed a little bit more than him and the girl Selena did, for sure. And y'all were like, nah, he playing Chelsea because he's just trying to da-da-da for black women. And, you know, I totally agree that he was just making out with Chelsea because it was something to do and something the producers probably told him to do to make it look like he was interested in black women. And he probably wasn't interested in Chelsea. To be honest, there's probably a lot of black men out there who'd be like, I don't want to date a chick with a bald head. So we know Matt ain't gonna date no chick with no bald head. It takes a very self-loving, self-aware, black history knowing black person and black man to date a black woman with a bald head, honey, because just most of us ain't gonna go through it because of all of this attachment we have to hair in general and the internalized racism and internalized criticisms we've taken about our hair over the last 200 years or more, actually. So last 400 or 500 years
at least. Let's
move on to the date that he had with the other girl. I don't remember her name. Serena? I don't remember her name. Anyway, they did tantric yoga. If y'all don't know anything about me, I'm a huge yogi. Before the panorama, I did yoga 3 or 4 times a week at least. I love yoga a lot, and I love the idea of tantric yoga as a date.
Cute.
One thing I did notice is that Matt was pretty flexible, and this is not me trying to be cute. He was very flexible. I'm a yogi, so I know. Most men, if you ask them to put their legs up in the air like that, they wouldn't be able to do it appropriately.
Okay.
Especially if they've never done yoga before, they're not an active yogi. And he did a great job, so shout out to Matt. Serena, on the other hand, has absolute no sex appeal.
None.
She's one of those girls who's really cute and really sweet, but she doesn't have sex appeal at all. I'm really surprised she didn't go home tonight because she's awkward to me. I think that she's a Debbie Downer. She was like, I never want to do that again. I never want to do it again. I never want to do it again. I hated it. I never want to do it again. Let's toast to never doing it again.
Okay, girl.
Girl, it is okay. You don't have to like the date. You could just say, oh, I didn't really love that, but it was interesting. Not even me, child. I'm very honest. If I was on a date with my husband and he took the time to plan it or whatever the case is, I probably wouldn't say that I hated the date that many times. I would probably just be like, that was very interesting. Next time, you know what I would love to do? Something that's more my speed. And then I would probably get vulnerable. Matt wants to get vulnerable and tell him, I'm not used to like public displays of affection like that. And then that just be it. But I'm just confused why she said she's not into PDA, and then she was making out with him on the ice rink a couple of times. Girl, the cameras are still around. What is the difference?
Nothing.
There was just one instructor there. You didn't have an audience watching. Like, when Matt said that he looked into her eyes and he never stared into somebody's eyes for that long and he felt naked, he didn't even say that, and he never thought that, honey.
Lies.
The producers told him to say that because I know you a damn lie. You ain't never thought you felt naked by looking at somebody's eyes in your life. That is something that somebody who is woke would say.
Period.
And I wrote down that after old girl got the rose, she wasn't shy no more.
Sure wasn't.
She liked PDA then. Period. Let's move on to the group date. The first thing I wrote down is Bree is so beautiful.
Very.
Girl, she's fine, actually. She's really pretty. She said that she quit her job to be there with Matt. Girl, bye. It was more than work for me. It was my dream. Girl, you can get another job, and we all know that. And we actually know that after this show, you won't be going back to work at any job. You will be doing your little tours at clubs and being an Instagram influencer, and you might start your own candle business,
right?
And then you're gonna be doing like yoga probably, and like retreats, and you're gonna be doing all this shit online. You really acting like I quit my job for you. This is very serious because my mom was a single mom and she had to. What does your mom being a single mom have to do with you quitting your job to be on a TV show?
For this man, absolutely nothing.
Oh my God. Anyway, let me move on. Abigail, you guys, y'all remember Abigail? She got used and she got played. And I peeped it from the very first episode. Abigail was beautiful. She was probably the sweetest girl on the show and most genuine. She got the first impression rose. And I didn't really feel like Matt really had a connection with her. In fact, how could he have on the first night? He made it seem like they had such a strong connection, and we think that was all for play.
Lies.
And now she got home. She got sent home. Oh my gosh. I really do not think that Abigail deserved this. I think she was way too sweet for this bullshit. So I think it's actually quite disgusting that they completely used her, her being hearing impaired as a way to promote how inclusive they are as a show, whether they did it blatantly or not. And then for her to get the first impression rose, and there was really no connection between her and Matt the entire time. He never went on another date with her. I don't even remember him kissing her again, maybe one time. And at the end of the day, Abigail went out like a G. You know why? Because she didn't bust no tear over this man, okay? She went home like a gangster. She said, you know what? Thank you for letting me know, and rolled out, honey.
Oh.
Yeah, and then we have Rachel.
Who?
Honestly, let me tell y'all something right now. A lot of people are hinting towards me. I told y'all I did not want to know that Matt has picked Rachel to be with at the end of all this. And I think that if he picked racist ass Rachel to be with, then he's made a huge mistake and he should feel like a complete dumbass. And I also will say that I don't think that he and Rachel have more of a connection than he does with anybody else. And I mean anybody else.
Right.
His connection with Rachel is nothing.
Based on looks?
He had more of a connection with Piper to me. It's so interesting that I wrote down, right after his date with Rachel, I wrote down, Piper has potential, but she won't win, and she got sent home tonight. Anyway, Kit also went home tonight. She self-selected herself out, and you know what? Kit really hasn't been my favorite this whole time because she's literally 12 years old.
11.
Like, she needs to go live her life, okay? She's 21 years old. She says that she doesn't want to have kids till she's 25 or 26. This is how you know somebody's immature. Okay, let me just break this down for you guys. And I know everybody's not going to agree with this. Kit is 21. I assume that she's already 21. So at some point soon, she'll be 22. She doesn't want to have kids until she's 25 or 26.
Okay.
So in 4 years, she'll be 25.
Yeah, right.
She says she wants to finish school, travel, establish a career, and then have kids at 12. What kind of fantasy life are you living in, kid?
All a lie.
You think you're going to finish school,
nope,
travel,
nope,
and establish a career in 4 years? That is actually not how life works.
False.
How it actually works is you finish school, and then you search what you want to do for 12 more months, honey. You cry for another 3 months. You travel for another year after that.
Right.
You find somebody who is going to completely waste your time for a year and a half.
Totally.
You guys are going to break up. And then you're going to start over with a new career that you want to do because the first one you actually don't want to do anymore. And then you wake up, honey, and you're 31. Lastly, Matt went on a date with Jazmyn. First of all, Jazmyn is absolutely adorable. I think she's very beautiful. She's cute. I love how real she is. She got a cute little personality and attitude and spunk to her. You know, she was drifting and she wasn't even scared, honey. She said, I ain't never scared.
I ain't never scared.
Okay?
What?
I like her. I said Jazmyn was drifting and Matt was crashing. Why was he running into everything?
Why?
Did they want him to do that to like make the scene more interesting? Because what the hell going on? Why he risking our lives like this? Then Jazmyn said, baby, kiss me on the hood of the car. I know that's right. You know what? Part of me wanted to see Jazmyn and Matt do a little tantric yoga. I said, forget about the other girl. Can we get a date with Matt and Jazmyn?
Yes.
To do a little yoga, honey? I want to see that.
Girl.
Anyway.
Yeah, let's move on.
Listen, Jazmyn told Matt that she was falling in love with him. And then he turned around and told her that they weren't compatible after he picked up the damn rose. The producers need to stop that.
Right now.
I am tired of seeing women smile when he picks up the rose and then go like this.
Happiness just fades away on camera, child.
To keep from crying. This is ridiculous. It's cruel and I hate it. Stop making them pick up the damn rose to tell them that they're going home. This is stupid.
Very stupid.
It's dumb. I hate it. Jazmyn said she felt blindsided after that, and I don't blame her. I think she's completely right to feel blindsided.
Yep, I agree.
Because there was no indication that they didn't have a good connection. I thought that they had a good connection. It would have made a little bit more sense to me if Matt said that he could only see her as a friend. Because I could kind of get that. But the way he picked her up and put her in the car, even though she had to tell him to, maybe that's a red flag.
It was.
I thought they had a good connection. The same connection he had with Jazmyn is the same connection he had with Rachel. Not much. I'm telling you, the most connected person he's been with on the show thus far is Piper.
It's Piper.
And maybe Bree. Anyway, at the end of the day, we have 4 black women and 1 white woman left. And I think at the end of this episode, there were three black women or 3 women of color and 1 white woman. That means that there's a 25% chance that he will choose a white woman for this show. And you guys are telling me that is exactly what's going to happen.
That's what y'all said.
Yeah, we'll see. The last thing I'll have to say is Piper went home like a G as well. He walked her out. She got in the car and closed the door and didn't say shit. Piper is me. Another reason why I don't really love shows like The Bachelor that are really catered to and made for white people to fall in love is because, y'all can tell me if I'm wrong or not, but I do not think that black women open themselves up as quickly in the same way that other women do because we have more pain, more rejection. There's so many people out here telling us that we're not desirable. So in this position where you have to be very vulnerable and you are up against other people who are according to society more desirable than you are, I can completely understand not opening up. I wouldn't open up.
According to society.
And then Piper did all of this work to open up, and she was really, really feeling Matt. Really feeling him. You could tell that Piper is kind of a badass and she wasn't going to open up to nobody like that. And then she gets her heart crushed like that. I could totally see why she feels upset through this entire episode. You know, the ups and downs from last episode where he kissing her around the corner and just all of that. I could totally see that. And another thing I would like to point out is Michelle didn't say a damn word this entire episode, but she's going to go through the same thing at some point. She's going to go through the same exact thing with this guy.
Poor thing.
Because I can already tell that Michelle, she's biracial. I didn't know that until, you know, we saw her parents on the preview for next week. But you can tell that she just doesn't open herself up the way that other women we've seen in the past open themselves up. This was kind of a sad episode for me. I'm sorry if this review is not that funny because, you know, we're getting down to the nitty gritty of what Matt is all about, to be honest. And yeah, there's a lot of drama surrounded around this season, and it's all based upon race. And this is not why I watched The Bachelor. I watched The Bachelor so I can watch white people fall in love and cry and drink and get drunk and act a fool. I do not watch this to have a debate about race, to have a debate about diversity and inclusion when all of this shit is fake. So anyway, I'd love to know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. If you still here and you haven't subscribed to my channel, honey, you have issues. I appreciate y'all so much, and I will see y'all on Wednesday with another episode of Married at First Sight, which gives me high blood pressure. Okay?
Bye.
Bye.